Yeah, I really do like the story. Let's move on to the second feature, the Pokemon, and one other interesting element they did here. This is something that actually I was pretty excited about when I read the pre-release material. The idea behind Pokemon Black and White, according to its director, I really should look up his name, is that they wanted to try and create the feel that this was a completely different ecosystem. Now what this meant was that they tried to base the locations around, apparently based more on America and New York rather than Japan, which I'll get more into in a moment. But it also means that there was a completely new 150 Pokemon and none of the old ones come back. Now that may seem like a blasphemy to some people, but as someone who has played all the Pokemon games, I am just so glad that it stopped them from making lazy choices. We don't get Magikarp or Tentacruel in the waters, we do not get Zubat in the freaking caves, and we do not see any freaking Pidgey or Rattata's
Yeah, and as for the Zubat, praise the freaking Lord above.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just so glad they don't resort to that anymore. Every single Pokemon you see is new. There is no lazy choices. There's nothing predictable about it. Every single Pokemon you see in the game is new. You have not seen it before, so it makes for a much more interesting experience.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of the new designs are a bit weird, but I can definitely live with it. I've already found a great Sandslash substitute in Drillbur, so...
Oh, I do like all the new Pokemon myself. Some of them are a bit strange, but I just want to mention one thing. What idiot thought it would be a good idea to name a Pokemon Conkeldurr?
Wait, what?
I'm not kidding. There's a line of Pokemon, Timburr, Gurdur, and Conkeldurr. The fighting types.
Oh no, is that his final form then?
Yep.
Oh my good lord, I mean I've seen Timburr, thought that was okay, but I thought Gurdur was bad enough.
Yeah, it sounds like a phrase that someone on 4chan would make.
Aside from a few weird blips, generally the new designs are good, I would say. Speaking of which, like all Pokemon games, you get a choice between 3 starter Pokemon. This time you get the choice between Tepig, the fire type, Snivy, the grass Pokemon, and Oshawott, the water Pokemon. The reason I bring this up is, Sven, out of curiosity, which one did you choose?
Snivy.
Ah, fair enough. I went to Tepig. There was just something about that adorable little pig I just couldn't say no to.
Yeah, I just liked the, I mean, this is a the most literal you can get enforcement of a trope ever, but Snivy is actually the smug snake. I just love that.
Yeah, I do remember when he first came out, a lot of people nicknamed him Smugly just because of how...
Yeah. And let me just mention his final evolution is absolutely friggin' awesome.
Oh yeah, I've seen images of it. I'll be honest, Snivy was a close second in terms of choice, but in the end I just couldn't say no to Tepig.
Well, the good news about this generation is that you really couldn't go wrong with any of the choices. Well, Oshawott looked a bit questionable to start with, but... Yeah, they do. They're pretty cool. And now he's evolved into the Emboar and has become basically a massive bulldozing killing machine. Yeah, if I recall, Emboar's specialties are attack and HP, so you've got a tank on your hands, basically.
Pretty much, yes. That's why he goes well with Drillbur, because Drillbur's specialties are also attacking.
Oh yeah, makes a good double team.
So far, large part of the game, I started off with a 3-man band of Tepig, Muuna, and Blitzeal, which then evolved into a 4-man band of Ducklet, and we've just gained the 5th member with Drillbur. Now we just need to find a 6th member.
Oh, let me think for a minute. I kind of sort of forgot my team, which sucks.
Oh.
So this was the base. I had Snivy, Blitzel, Timburr. As much as I facepalm at the name, I needed a fighting type. Sandile, and you know why Sandile? It looks like a Kremling.
Yeah. That's what part of the reasons why I was tempted to use it, but I decided not to.
Yeah, I swear, all 3 forms of that thing look like a Kremling, and it helped the second 2 forms even have the misspelled names with the K's.
Yeah,
Someone was a fan of Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, I think if I did have it, I would be tempted to nickname it Claptrap, at least at the beginning.
Oh man, all the references we can make with Sandile. Yeah. After that, I picked up a Darumaka. They kept the Japanese
Oh yeah,
name.
I remember.
Yeah, they kept the Japanese name, so I'm bound to butcher it just by habit. And then I got a Turtoga, the turtle. The
Oh
fossil.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, and let me just tell you this about Turtoga. Evolve it, and you will have high triple-digit defense before level 40.
Whoa.
Seriously, nothing hurts this thing.
Well, I'm actually really tempted to get that bad guy now.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon well worth the effort. Is it just me or are the fossil types always unchangingly awesome?
That is true. Although I'd have some questions of Armonite. But yeah, generally speaking, we really like the Pokemon. Gameplay-wise, like we've said, nothing's really changed, but there are one or two interesting gimmicks that came along. There's the rotation battles and the triple battles, although at the time of this recording, I've only been in one rotation battle, and that was kind of interesting. Unfortunately, most of my Pokemon were super effective. True story. I was trying to figure out the controls, so I just put the Blitzel's evolved form Zeb Striker up and then just had it use Discharge. And then the guy just switched around into so that his flying type was in the lead, and I thought, wow, you just had victory on my plate. Like,
yeah, that reminds me of my first rotation battle, and to date my only. I think we were in the same rotation battle. I soloed the entire thing with Zeb Striker. True story.
Yeah, I was tempted to, but I decided to give Drillbur's evolved form Excadrill in order to get...
Yeah, it seems to be a reverse with us. I was tempted to do all the rest, but it was just so fun to knock them all out of the sky with Zeb Striker.
Yeah, that is true. Zeb Striker always seems to be a good all-round Pokemon, I think.
Yeah, and looks badass too.
That is true. But yeah, how rotation battles work is essentially 3 Pokemon come out at once, but only one can attack. So you basically have to pick an option to choose which Pokemon will attack, and yeah, you have to be careful because sometimes the opponent can switch round to a Pokemon that's more effective against the one you've just switched forward, etc, etc. So it adds a new element of strategy, which is kind of interesting, but the problem is it only ever happened in one battle, so...
Yeah, so far at least, for both of us, coincidentally.
Yeah, and triple battles, I've seen them advertised, but I've yet to actually go through one yet.
Same here. And I'm actually pretty far in the game.
Ah! Oh dear. This is...
Yeah, although I'm probably not much further than you are, to be fair.
There are also a few mini games you get to do, although unfortunately, I've only managed to get the timing right to play one, and... Pokemon Musical, just... What was the f***ing point?
What?
Pokemon Musical. Essentially, the idea behind Pokemon Musical is that you dress up your Pokemon, and then they get on stage, set the music, and the Pokemon's performance will basically get you more rewards depending on how they perform and react to music, etc. Now, this is a fine, if slightly silly concept in theory. However, what actually happens is that essentially you just dress your Pokemon up and then watch it dance for a while, and you can't really do anything.
I concur. What's the point?
Yeah, I mean, stuff like the contest, okay, they're not everyone's cup of tea, but there was some skill and strategy to them. If you wanted to, you could raise Pokemon solely for those, but the musical, they don't really contribute anything useful. It's essentially just watching the Pokemon dance around for a while, and occasionally you can use the props to try and appeal to get more points for yourself. Like, if you give a Pokemon a K, they can twirl it around, but the only problem is, A, you can only use that item once. B, considering that most arms a Pokemon can have is 2, you've only really got 2 times to appeal. 3, your Pokemon needs arms in the first place, so if you decide to use a quadruped like poor Zeb Striker, then he's got nothing to appeal with, so they tend to come last.
Well, guess that puts a damper on the whole idea that I may actually play that with my Snivy, because Snivy has no arms in the first place.
Yeah, and the final the one moment which made me realise that this was possibly the only weak idea in this game. Yet, despite this negative, it doesn't damage the whole game as a whole, but the only slight weak point in this game is that what's your ultimate prize for actually putting all the hard work effort into dressing up your Pokemon and getting it to 12 props at the right moment? More props. I'm not kidding.
1 second. I have just removed my glasses to facepalm.
Oh dear. Yeah, it's a pretty silly feature and it doesn't really add a great lot, I must say. So
yeah, by God, that's saying the least.
That's one weak and slightly pointless addition, although I must stress that doesn't detract from the game as a whole. However, there is also one pretty big feature which could be revolutionary or it could be annoying. I haven't actually been able to get it to work yet. There's this feature called, it's either Dream World or Sea Gear, I forget the exact name of it, but essentially the idea is that using this you can connect to other people's games and help them out by dropping in and out or leaving items for them, something like that. The idea is that it's the closest thing you'll probably ever get to a Pokemon MMO. Unfortunately, the thing is, my DSi and my wireless, for some reason, don't get on very well, so I've never been able to get it to work.
Hey, guess what? My router is completely incompatible with my DS, so I'm in the same boat.
Bloody hell. So yeah, one of the greatest features is that we can't get it to work.
Yeah, neither of us. Just Sod's Law. Maybe we'll get back to you whenever we finally do, if we do.
If we do. So that's pretty much all the gameplay features covered, so if you played Platinum or Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you know what to expect from the rest of the gameplay. So we can now focus a bit on the world, and this is something I've actually wanted to get into because the world is possibly one of the most interesting things I've played in a while. Because, okay, put simply, one thing, although the formula has a lot of similarities to all games in black and white, the presentation is unbelievable. The music is gorgeous. Whenever characters have phone conversations, admittedly it's only for plot moments now, it's got nothing to do with trainer rematches. They have like these full mugshots where all the characters talking and it looks really awesome. And again, in certain scenes you get the mugshots, kind of like in Fire Emblem actually, now that I think about it.
Actually, that's a very good point. They are like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the style of artwork they use in those scenes works so much better than the Pokemon anime art style.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, the art style is really great, and the world itself, it looks absolutely gorgeous, because I love the aesthetic. One thing that I've really loved about Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, etc., is that they try to make every town feel unique, with its own song, different ambience, like how one town's like a more of a cold town and the other one's like it's a more deep countryside and everything. And that same aesthetics carried over in Pokemon Black and White, but they put more, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this, but kind of just bit more evidence to the world. And there's one city in particular which I wish there was a bit more places like it, and that place is Castelia City. Once you get there, I just really loved exploring that place.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. I think that was the most New York-like place in the game.
Yeah, I think that New York is their inspiration for it, and it's just other Pokemon places, it tends to be like maps around square buildings and this is like a fully circular city, and it's got like back streets and like several interconnected streets that lead to different places and loads of buildings, and the gym's like around this back alley where you have to find it rather than just standing out in the middle of the open. It just felt really fun and really new exploring that place for the first time, and the fact that they put like these new 3D camera angles so it doesn't look so 2.5D-ish look, that made it absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny you should mention the gyms, because I just need to mention the new styles of gyms they put in, okay? One is a restaurant, one is a museum, one takes place about 1,000 feet under the crust of the earth, one is an airplane hangar. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that.